Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome tonight. Asim, thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So, I am going to say a very big shout out to Crystal Black and our beautiful sister Freedom in Yeshua, Ohio. I absolutely enjoy this particular video. I listen, I heard, I understand, and I also learn from this video. And the fact that white people are always very quick to tell black people that or claim that the Irish people were also slaves too. It looks like these people, one thing I have learned over time is that they also want to be victims so bad. So for that reason, everything that happened to black people happened to them. And then it looks like they are talking about indentured servitude. And how do you want to talk about indentured servitude and chattel slavery? Are they the same thing? Of course, they are not the same thing. When you go to, if for those that do not understand the meaning of indentured servitude, it is where someone is being contracted, like where they are being contracted to work for a certain period of time without being paid, right? I mean, they had that opportunity, but black people did not even for a minute or a time, had that opportunity. And black people were not indentured servitude. What happened to black people was chattel slavery. And they were trying to tell black people that the Irish also, were slaves. Like how? So Crystal Black was also talking about how these people are always very quick to call black people to look for help, but where they cannot even offer any single help. Let's get into.
I see all the fighting between black people and people of color on this app lately. And there's just so much visible divide. And it makes me look back and remember 2020 when everybody pretended to unify with black people. And I miss that. Back then, black people could do no wrong. Every non black person wanted a piece of the action. And we were happy to give it to them. I saw so many protests where black people were handing over the mic to non-black people and they'd give it back till eventually they just kept the mic. And everybody was happy except the black people that were getting killed. But our ferocious suburban black TikTok leaders graciously allowed everybody to speak over our cause. And it was a wonderful time. We even gave them a Sharpie and let them cross out black on Black Lives Matter. Let them put their race or ethnicity in its place. Word for word, bar for bar. In particular, I remember around last year and the year before, the topic of Hispanics saying the N-word came up. And a lot of black people were like, hey, we not cool with that. That's not y'all slur. And Hispanic people graciously heard what we said and told us, shut up, nigga. Then we had, the coons come in and tell us that y'all don't understand the culture of Hispanics calling black people the N word where they're from. When it all died down, everybody's fine. They continued to casually say nigga, and nobody said anything. There was a podcast where some Mexicans were mad that Kendrick Lamar only had one Mexican on stage during a Juneteenth performance, and they didn't know what Juneteenth was after we just celebrated Cinco de Mayo the month before. And they kept on, coming with a little heat, and then the election came, and it was a bunch of Latinos for Trump, and a good portion of them. They weren't all Mexicans, of course. And we kept it pushing like we always do. We said this was gonna backfire on you. Black people kept moving, forgetting about when, Hispanic people, Mexicans in particular, would call black people monkeys repeatedly on work site in their own neighborhoods. Forgot about the race wars in LA. From my understanding, in the prison system, Mexicans usually side with white supremacists. The black people on TikTok ignored it, kept on pushing. The Mexicans, the Hispanic, they're our brothers and sisters. Then the election happens and Trump gets into office and starts doing all the things he said he was going to do. Black people took this election as a form of betrayal because Trump is directly really going to harm black people. So the deportation started happening. Black people said, we going to mind our business. And Mexican people like, wait a minute, niggas. But we stood with you, then took your movement. You've always spoken out against the anti-immigration stuff. You always have black community before, even now when everybody else is doing it. Y'all have always spoke out against it. Well, not this time. We've asked you repeatedly, y'all keep disrespecting us. And the Mexicans say, fine, niggers. That's why your people were in chains and you were slaves. And a lot of y'all tried to run to Mexico. It was about 3 to 10,000 of you, and we took you in. And we didn't send you back to America. We kept you niggers. Okay, and black people, we've heard of that before, right? We've always, wow, they did do that for us. Underground Railroad, right? But nobody talks about the treatment in Mexico after they ran away there. And that's because runaway black people in Mexico got put right back into a type of slavery very similar to chattel slavery. On the books, it said that black people had rights, but in reality, they was on plantations and shit. In reality, they would get whipped, and even though it was against the law, nobody enforced it. And that whole we stood up and fought so that they couldn't kidnap y'all thing was most likely because it was an economic advantage to damn near free labor from niggas. Seems like another source of reparations that black people are owed. In addition to that, they were ostracized, looked down upon, but eventually did intermingle, have Afro Mexicans. And those Afro Mexicans apparently still experience discrimination from their Mexican halves. Nigga with the soft A and nigga with the ER is the same meaning. It's just a soft A with us because we speak AVE. But the meaning is the same. Even if it wasn't, it's still our slur. And y'all have a perfectly good slur in Spanish for black people, don't you? A couple of them. I'll respect you more if you call me a slur in your own language. Don't try to use the English version. The reaction of Mexican people being told no by black people for them immediately to start sounding like the white people they say that they hate. For them to sound exactly, in fact, worse. They sound worse than what white people say to us because they think they have a right to. Should have kept you in chains? Those are real comments that I have. I can show screenshots. It proves our point. You already had that queued up. I don't think about other races, to be honest, except about what they did to my people. So if I were to have a comeback to somebody of a different race, I wouldn't go to their oppression. I'll talk about how they oppressed my people, but I would never talk about their oppression. I wouldn't know to think of it. I didn't look down at them like that, right? But y'all threw an extreme trauma in our face, slavery. They're coming after us next. They've been at us. Your problem is you're used to black people either being your attack dog or your shield. And since we won't be either, y'all showed that you've always thought the same way as white people do. And it's really fucked up because while y'all are mocking our slavery, they're setting up prison camps for y'all and trying to push lifetime imprisonment, which is stuff our black people already go through, still going through slavery. And while they're doing that, if y'all took time to go look, you see a whole bunch of black women teachers, black men teachers, saying that if ICE came in their school, they'll protect your child. I don't believe any other race of people is going to protect no child. But I do believe that black people will. Don't protect their own kids, but go out of our way to protect Mexican kids from ICE. I do believe that. They are willing to do that and make that sacrifice, and even if they got on here and talk shit, I do believe that they would still try to help your child. And y'all got on here and disrespected the only people that have ever been in your fucking corner. We don't owe you a goddamn thing. Y'all came here into black neighborhoods most of the time, and we took you in and took care of y'all. When black people take in the Mexican illegal immigrant that barely speaks English, black men be hanging out with them, chilling with them at work, whatever. When the white people do it, it's to mock. When black people do it, it's genuine and I'm mocking them. You go look on these videos and you'll see black people saying things like, yeah, Mexican buddy, they want to be friends, they'll bring you a beer. And that's actually happened to me. It was at my apartment a long time ago. He was trying to get on though, didn't speak a lick of English. I don't know where he thought that was gonna go. White people mock y'all. The ones that don't speak English look down at them. White people were raised to look at Mexicans as inferior, Hispanics as inferior. Black people were taught to watch out for Mexicans for our safety, not in the white people way. It was their racist towards black people too. Be careful. Still let y'all in. Come into our culture. You still call us the N-word. Everybody else looks down on y'all. Some black people even say y'all was the new niggas. And it wasn't in a derogatory way. It was a way to connect with y'all, to let you into our community because everyone else rejected you. And this is what you do. And I don't want to hear, you can't generalize them just because it's a few. We don't do that to white people. I'm not doing it to nobody else. Because the fact is, racism towards black people is deeply rooted in the Latino community. That's why Brazilians hate themselves when the most niggas was dropped off over there. And the Dominicans, I know black, I Dominican. And y'all wasn't taking white people jobs. I'm just going to say it. Y'all couldn't have. The black wages dropped. And it consequently pushed more black men into prison because they started committing more crimes. Let's see who got this far. 10 out of 10.
Joe, the only reason I continue to respond because I know my people need education too on y'all satanic rituals that y'all do and how y'all gaslight our people. Bless your historically handicapped heart. You're tossing around these half-baked facts like they're gospel, but it's giving indoctrination, not education. And let's get a few things straight here. See, the white cargo doesn't equal chattel slavery. You want to tell me, oh, there were Irish slaves. Yes, there were Irish indentured servants. Yes, they suffered. But no, baby. That's not the same as chattel slavery. I don't know why y'all continue to try to compare this like it's apples to apples when it's apples to oranges. Indentured servants had contracts. They could eventually be free, own land, and even own slaves themselves. African slaves were considered property for life, branded, bred like cattle, and dehumanized and legally subhuman. And let's not pretend they were working side by side in some post-racial utopia, because they weren't. Even poor Irish folks were legally and socially ranked above black slaves by guess who? The puppeteer Ashkenazi Jews who were using you all too, but y'all just somehow don't realize it. Yeah. They testified in courts, escaped penalties for killing black people, and benefited from whiteness in a way that black people never could. But y'all hop and skip and jump over that too. So please don't confuse oppression with alienation. Not every suffering is created equal, and not every slave was treated like black bodies were in this wicked empire. You want a quote about the Holocaust? Well, which Jews are you talking about? Because you said 6 million Jews died? Which Jews, Joe? The true ones? Or the ones that are in Revelations 2 and 9? The ones that we call the fake Jews, where it says, I know the blaspheming of those who say that they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan? The Ashkenazi Jews, the Khazarians, the Turkish Mongols from the Caucasus Mountains, where you get the term Caucasian. It's funny how the same people who claim victimhood are the ones who funded and insured slave ships, who own 90% of the sugar plantations in Jamaica, who own majority of the slaves in the transatlantic slave trade, controlled the banks, brokers, and insured and kept the transatlantic slave trade alive. And they still run the entertainment, news, and media that profits from mocking and manipulating black trauma. But I know, you don't realize scripture that talks about they would actually dwell in the tents of Shem, that they would hijack our culture, that they would try to be us. And ironically, they profit from both the Atlantic slave trade and the reparations from World War II. But I guess y'all blind to that too. So tell me, JoJo, who's really oppressed here? Who? I know the divide and conquer tactic. You repeating the script that, was strategically designed to keep black folks and poor white folks divided. The Ashkenazi elite set themselves above all, manipulating economies, funneling colonial expeditions, pitting groups against one another to hide their hand. Yeah, so white people and black people fighting one another, but they the puppeteers in the back. They weaponized your whiteness to create a racial buffer, then quietly stepped back into the shadows of banks, media, and policy rooms. And guess what? Many of y'all still pledge allegiance to their false narrative, blind as a bat. And the truth, while you are actually defending your oppressor's gate. So Joe, I need you to sit tight. A video, I'm going to be dropping it soon with the receipts about what I'm saying, with the sources, with the straight up historical truths that your history class conveniently skipped. So I'm going to be pulling the veil all the way back and exposing the real architects behind this global oppression that we're talking about. And until then, save your smoke for somebody who doesn't have firepower, because baby, you coming to the wrong one.
White people, you are racist unless you work on deconstructing your racism. Unless you are actively being anti-racist, then you are racist. Even if you are being complicit, you are racist. And when you say things like, I'm not racist because my XYZ, then you start to tokenize someone that is racist. We don't care what big black cucumber you took. I don't care what big black cucumber or eggplant busted inside of you for you to have your child, your black and or maybe white child. I don't care. You are racist. You don't have to show me little Trayvon right next to you and be like, well, look at little Daquan that I have that came out of my vajayjay. You're still racist. If anything, that just proves how more racist you are. That is very racist. You're like, here, no, look, I'm not racist. This came out of me. White people should look at the show Deconstructing Karen on Tubi. Really good show to watch. It's a good start. Then start reading books like White Fragility. Start learning the history of colonization, redlining, mass incarceration, etc. You have to actually actively deconstruct your racism. I'm not saying you are a bad person for having biased thoughts. We all have biased thoughts. I have biased thoughts. But when you are not actively working to confront those biases that you hold, you are actively participating in a system that benefits you.
This is all I got from this video, and a very big shout out to Crystal Black. They are my sisters, you know. They are just doing amazingly great. And now let's get into this video. I'm going to start with the other sister who said, okay, like the Irish always saying that they were slave. The truth is that some people actually do not even understand. Like, how can you claim something that you know nothing about? And how can you claim that you were slaves when you really do not, like when white people claim Irish people were slaves? Like, can you people really stop? Do you people understand the meaning of indentured servitude and being slave? The fact that they always look for a way to, like, you know, get into anything that has happened to black people or black ordeals, black trauma. They always look for a way to be also victims. Like, I have been saying this thing several times. Like, can you people not bother trying to tell black people that also you guys were slaves and also the same thing happened to us? Can you just shut up and stop already? Can you people stop? Because indentured servitude is very much different. Trust me, I love this sister. She is very, like, you know, she and Crystal Black are just too good. And there is nothing as beautiful as also seeing beautiful, educated, outspoken black women. I know black women are very outspoken and educated, because if you check around, you definitely will know that they are the most educated demographic. You know, I love it. I love it when they try to teach people, when they try to enlighten them, because history lesson, like I keep saying, history lesson is something that these people really need to go back to, because Tell me how these people will tell you that history, how do they even say it? Black history hurts their feelings. Black history is very violent. This is what they say. Like, how is it violence? Is it not what your ancestors did to my people that you are saying it is violence? So the people you violated do not have the right to speak up over your violence. Make it make sense. Black people are the one hurting, but you don't want your own people to learn about how you people hurt them because you are trying to man, it's really crazy because sometimes they do not understand that an indentured servitude is different from chattel slavery. How do you want me to continue to explain this to these people that said that they know everything and they understand everything, that they are educated? Indentured servitude is where somebody is contracted for a period of time to work without salary for a specific number of years, right? How is it the same thing as chattel slavery? Like Sister Crystal Black said, these people are the same people that will go any length to say anything about people that look like me, but then turn around to tell you how much they need your help. Like, how am I supposed to help you? You know, one thing they always think is that our Black people will always be available to save them. But I love how things turn around. Like, seeing all of them. Those ones that will say, me no Black, me no green, me no. What are you? If you are not Black, you look exactly like me. I can see me in you. But what is the problem? What is the problem? You don't look like me. We are not trying to claim you, actually. But then, seeing someone that said, we are not the same, with the same, and trying to convince me that I am blind. When we talk about those people of color that always look for a way to get into Black businesses, the same people that will ask you for help, the same people that will tell you, oh, this, that, and turn around. How do you turn around on people you said you like? How do you turn? How do you make that U-turn so fast? Sincerely speaking, Black people have really seen it all. There is nothing as horrible as living with people you think they are friends or, like household enemy. You guys all live together, but they are not your friends. And that it's on period. They are not Black people's friends. Hispanic, all of them. All of them. 1 minute you think they are cool, the other minute they show you their true color. And one thing I have learned to understand, or one thing I have learned from my people, is that when people show you who they are, do not make excuses for them. Just believe them. And I am done making excuses for anybody. Yeah. This is where I am going to draw the curtain. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.